Hey, everybody, I'm here with Collin Wilson. Collin was a Washburn Rural graduate, now a Washburn University graduate, played football at Washburn Rural and Washburn. Collin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Justin.
Collin's the son of the late Greg Buzz Wilson and Brenda Wilson. Collin, what does it mean to you to be the son of Buzz Wilson?
Man, it's crazy, just over the years hearing all the stories from people like Tony Barksdale, someone who I respected, looked up to, and other Topeka legends. Just kind of hearing how respected my dad was is huge. So, definitely gives me confidence in pushing forward and knowing that he was a great athlete, and it's no accident that I'm where I'm at right now.
So, Collin, your dad was a member of the '87 Ichabod NAI National Championship team. He finished his career fifth on the all-time scoring chart with 1,300 points, and then was inducted into the Washburn Athletics Hall of Fame in '06. So, after I mentioned all that, what was it like to you to put that Ichabod jersey on for the first time?
Man, it was huge. Growing up in Topeka, just growing up around the program and the school, really my whole life playing basketball in the old Whiting Field House and things like that. It's huge. It felt like home, and it felt like a very comfortable place for me to go out and do what I needed to do on the field and off the field.
Because when you put that Ichabod jersey on for the first time, it was like your dad wore the Ichabod basketball jersey, you're wearing a football jersey. Did that mean anything to you? Just living in your dad's, he did basketball, now I'm doing football.
Yeah, my goal always was to get in the Hall of Fame next to him. Now we'll see if that happens, down the line. But just everything Washburn meant to him and our family growing up, it was a huge honor to put that Ichabod jersey on for the first time. And, I knew, I went through a lot to get there, and I felt like I earned that right.
So you were redshirted your freshman year at Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
Your sophomore year, you appeared in 6 games. You had 7 catches for 99 yards with a season-high 3 catches for 41 yards against Missouri Southern. Then we're going to go into your junior year. You were named honorable mention All-MIAA. What did that mean to you, getting that honorable mention award?
Honestly, I was mad about it. Starting the season off, I was, top 3 in every receiving category through the first 4 or 5 games. And, that was the hardest stretch of our schedule we had. So, going into the back half of the season, I felt like, it was only going to get better. I had more experience under my belt and was more comfortable. Unfortunately, didn't, end the season how I felt like I could have. But, I felt like skill set wise, talent wise, and, what I brought to my team, I was definitely, first team, second team type of guy. But, I took it for what I was. At least somebody was recognizing what I was doing on the field. So just took it for what it was and knew I had some more work to do.
It said you had a career high 115 yards on 4 catches against Nebraska Kearney with a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that game?
Man, I do. Rest in peace to Kevin Weems. That was right around when he had passed, and putting up the biggest game of my career. At that point was huge, and I just remember after that game knowing he was looking down, and him and my dad were probably having a good time up in heaven. So, I was glad I could do that and represent for him.
Yeah, big time. They were real good friends.
Yeah.
You were a 2-time Ichabod Offensive Skill Position Player of the Week your junior year. You had a really big junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Your senior year in 2022, you made 3 starts playing in 6 games, 23 catches for 305 yards, 4 touchdowns. You had a season best 7 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown against Central Missouri. And then you decided to come back this year for your super senior year. What kind of went through that decision making, and what kind of went through all that to decide I'm going to give it one more shot?
I just knew there's a small window of opportunity to play football, so why not use and exhaust every possible year I can play. But on top of that, my junior year, which was 2022, I consider it my junior year. But I had broke my collarbone week 6, and I hadn't played in 3 years in a game in 3 years since 2019, and I felt like I was just kind of knocking the rust off when that happened, and I was on pace to have a second team, definitely third team, if not type of year. So had talked to 7 or 8 NFL teams at that point, and I just knew like I got to go through and finish what I started. I put in all this work over the years. I wasn't able to have a pro day because of my surgery on my shoulder, so I was like, I'm not going to let my whole career, waste what I started it for. So ended up coming back for this last year, and I'm here now.
That interesting that you brought up that collarbone injury because your brother Michael Wilhoit, he played at Washburn too,
Yep.
and he got hurt his junior year going into his senior year as well. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah. I
crazy.
remember that. I do remember that. He was the old man out there too.
What does it mean to you seeing him? He played for the 49ers and the Seahawks. What did it mean to you? Because after your father passed away, he kind of took on this mentorship role to you and became a great role model to you. What all has he meant to you?
Man, everything. I credit him for me being a nurse, me being potential NFL athlete. So like you said, he kind of guided me after my father had passed. It was really like a father figure to me, a big brother role. Seeing him have success in his NFL career was great. I got to go to quite a few games, and I even got to see an interception of his live. So seeing that and knowing like, dang, I'm in his shoes where I remember him playing, and I was the ball boy. Like now I'm where he was at, and he's where I want to go. So being to see his journey was awesome. And now he's coaching obviously with the Broncos, but I know he has big goals in his coaching career too, and I don't doubt that he'll reach all of those goals. So, he taught me a lot about discipline, hard work, and just showed me what it takes for longevity, taking care of your body, and the importance of the little things. So he's been huge.
When you look back at your football career at Washburn, what do you think of it?
Man, not what I expected. Going in, especially after that 2019 season, I figured, the game's only getting easier for me. I'm getting stronger, faster, smarter. And, I expected the rest of my career to be, twice as good as the front half. So, and it didn't, that year ended up being my best year due to injuries over the last 2 seasons. But it is what it is. So I take it for what it is. I've met a lot of great friends, made a lot of lifelong relationships, and most of all, I grew and learned a lot about myself and kind of what I want to do in life.
You battled some injuries in your time at Washburn. You kind of just mentioned that. You mentioned the collarbone injury.
Mm-hmm.
What did all those do to you mentally?
Man, most of the time, like I had a couple of things happen too, like in my earlier careers, and but they were all in the off season. So I was just like, get healthy and be ready for the season, and it really just made me hungry at that time. But the one in 2022 when I broke my collarbone, coming from not playing and for 3 seasons due to COVID and some personal illness. It was tough. I just kind of felt like I got my momentum going right where I wanted it to. Was going to finish the second half of the season strong. And, I felt like my NFL dreams are right there. I feel like I finished that season healthy. I don't even come back for another year at Washburn. I probably would have just left for the draft at that point. But, going through that injury, it was tough. I was in a dark place for a little bit. Just not knowing, like, is this the end of my career? What do I do from here? I can work out a little bit, but I got pro day here. And then finding out in December, going into that pro day in 2023 at that point would have been, I had to get a surgery. Got surgery. It didn't heal the way the doctors thought it would. So that shut down my whole potential of having a pro day. So, just fighting back at that point, I knew I needed to get back on my feet, get back going, working towards something. So, I decided to come back to another year at Washburn. It was like, use that as motivation, get me locked in, make up for some of that time where I was down and not able to work out. And, that's what I did. But it was definitely tough.
Hey, you were a four-time member of the MIAA Academic Honor Roll. What does that say about Collin Wilson?
Just that I execute at what I do. It's just something I expect out of myself. If I'm going to do something, I expect to do it at a high level. And that's just what it is.
You said you recently had your pro day for the NFL draft. What do you think your chances are playing at the next level?
That's just up to the opportunities. If I get opportunity, I like my chances a lot. My skill set, my catching ability, my IQ, work ethic, all of those things play into, what it takes to have a good career. So, it's all about the opportunities in front of me, and I believe I'll make the most of them. But I don't know about the possibilities. I'll leave that up to God and, these scouts and teams that have to take opportunity or give me opportunity. So, yeah.
You graduated with a nursing degree. What do you plan on doing with that?
For the last 2 years, I've been working as a cardiovascular outpatient nurse at Stormont in Topeka. Obviously I have to balance, during the season I'm not working. I have to kind of manage my off seasons, how much I work, and when I need to lock in on training, kind of ease back on the work. But, my nursing career, I'm just using that as a backup. I always have something to do, and I enjoy the nursing work. So, if football doesn't work out, I plan on using my nursing career, and, you work typically 3 days. So that gives me, 4 other days throughout the week to do what I want to do. So I want to get into training kids, training high schoolers, college athletes, and even professional athletes at the wide receiver position. So, once my football career is over, then I'll kind of move into those two full time.
Now, do you ever see yourself wanting to ever coach?
Coaching, I'm not sure. I see Michael right now. I see how much he's working, and I'm like, shoot, I'm more about my time than anything. I feel like if I if the money's there and that's the only way I feel like I can get that kind of money, then potentially. But I'm more about having time to do the things that I enjoy, which football I do enjoy. But man, those hours you working like that, you sacrificing time with your family, with friends, just spending time with yourself. So I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. We'll see.
So you were able to go watch your brother play a lot of NFL games. What was it like going in those NFL stadiums and knowing that I know that guy?
Man, it just took me back to the days of watching him at Washburn. Like that crowd at Washburn compared to some of those stadiums, you're like, man, like that just seems a little extreme. Like that many people packed in one area watching you play football, the same game that you've been playing since Pop Warner's is just kind of crazy. But it was cool because I know that's what he wanted to do, and he worked really hard to get there, and so it was good to see it work out for him. And now he obviously has a great career after playing.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, shoot, hopefully got a lot more money than I got right now. If I have a family and kids at that point, then awesome. If not, then, eventually I want to see myself with the family, and hopefully just happy, enjoying what I'm doing, whatever it is at that time.
Yeah, that's um so you grew up in Topeka, went to Washburn Rural. What was it like going to Washburn Rural?
It was a good experience. I had some really good friends there, some friends that led me in some great directions, positive directions in my life. So I'll always be thankful for that. The football experience was it was interesting. I was only 5'2" as a freshman in high school, so the sports thing, I was used to being good as a kid, and I was still skilled, but it's like when you're only 5'2" as a freshman, like you can only do so much out there, and the coach can only do so much with you. So it was frustrating from that standpoint, but I grew a lot, height wise and mentally. But it was a good experience. I would do it again if I had to or if I could.
Well, Colin, I appreciate you coming on here tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's good to
Yes, thank
talk to
you.
you again,
Yes, thank you.
for sure.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching another episode of Catching Up with JB. Colin is a really close friend of mine. His father was a really, really good athlete at Washburn University and a great person. Him and Kevin Weems were really good friends, best friends. And when Buzz passed, Kevin really took on a bigger role in Colin's life. And then you also learned how Michael Wilhoit also took on a big role in Colin's life. Colin has been someone special ever since his dad passed away, just because of what all he went through at such a young age. And I've always been there for Colin. I hope Colin does great things with his future and hope he can play in the NFL or somewhere. If it's not the NFL, I just hope he can play somewhere. Colin, good luck to you in the future, and thank you for coming on the show.